Oh, how's it going, everybody? We're back for another edition of All In, where I'll pick a rock artist, I'll listen to their entire discography, and give my thoughts on it. The rules go kind of like this. The band in question must have 5 or more original studio albums. Cover albums can count. Generally, I don't talk about live or acoustic albums unless they're original in that form, so here we go. And this week I thought it would be fun to pick a band that I have never heard before until doing this review. Or maybe I heard a couple tracks of theirs, but it's nothing that you hear on regular radio or even Sirius. I never heard them in my life. And here again, my buddy Rob, I got to shout him out again for his hard drive full of music that I dumped into my flash drive and listened to in the van, and that's how I heard these guys at first. So yeah, it was about 2 years ago I first heard them, or heard of them too. So, yeah, so we get Unsane. So, they have 8 original studio albums, ranging from their self-titled album, Unsane, in 1991, all the way to 2017's Sterilized. And as far as I know, they're still together till this day. You know, they've had a few lineup changes, and took a couple breaks here and there, but, I mean, but for the most part, they've remained constant. Yeah, it says here that they were active all the way back in '88. And so those of you in New York City, you might know who they are. That's where they hail from. And of course, we'll talk about the compilation albums as well. But anyhow, getting to it. So, Unsane. Have I seen them live? Obviously not, because I've never heard of them. So no live experiences there either. But we'll start off with the first album, Unsane, from 1991. So here we start off with their track Organ Donor. Then we have Bath, Maggot, Cracked Up, Slag, Exterminator, Vandal X, HLL, Azza 2000, Cut, Action Man, and White Hand. And as far as their sound goes, they're sort of like more of a raw, they have more of a raw, less produced sound, especially in the earlier albums. But as far as who to compare this band to, there's another sort of underground band I like to listen to called Whores. But I would say the most popular band I could compare these guys to is maybe like, I don't know. Oh, damn it, I'm having a brain fart. Oh, I knew who it is. The Melvins. You could almost put these guys in the same playlist as the Melvins. They sort of have that real gritty, sludgy-like sound to them, if I had to guess. I did go through and listen to the entire discography twice just to sort of form like a better opinion on it. Since here again, I've never heard them before this, or at least in this detail. So, moving on, we have 1993's Total Destruction. So, here we get Body Bomb, Straight, Black Book, Trench, Dispatched, Throw It Away, Broke, Road Trip, Wayne, Getaway, SOS, and 455. Of course, with 455, they're referring to the Cadillac there, or is that an Oldsmobile? I'm sure you car guys know what that is in that cover of Total Destruction. But, you know, just sort of a continuation to the last album on how it sounded and everything. So then moving on, we get 1995's Scattered, Smothered, and Covered. So, we get Scrape, Alleged, Blame Me, Out, Can't See, Get Off My Back, Blue, as in, like, not the color blue, but, like, blue a load. Yeah, I had to make that joke. Not a kid's show here. We got Empty Cartridge, No Loss, Test My Faith, Ruin, and Swim. So, in 1998, we get the release Occupational Hazard. So, here you go again with, like, the bloody cover art. That's obviously their theme here. So, here we have Committed, This Plane, Over Me, Taking the Stray, Stop, Wait to Lose, Sick, Hazmat, Smell the Rain, Is It Lead or Lead, Humidifier, Scam, and Understood. So, moving on, we get a little bit of a break from the studio, and in 2005 we get the album Blood Run. Here we have Black Slide, Release, Killing Time, Got It Down, Make Them Pray, Hammered Out, D-Train, Anything, Recovery, Latch, and Deadweight. And of course, continuing on with the bloody cover art. This one, like, it looks like a murder happened in the bathtub and the body's drug out. Very graphic cover art, I must say. So then, moving to 2007, we get Viz Queen, and this is where I think I started to like them a little better. I feel like their later stuff actually was a little better in my opinion. And I don't really say that much. I don't really say that too much about bands, but these guys, I think they're the exception to that rule. So, 2007, we get Viz Queen. We have Against the Grain, Last Man Standing, This Stops the River, Only Pain, No One, Windshield, Shooting Clay, Light on the Wall, Disdain, Eat Cow, and East Broadway. Very odd titles there. So then, we get a 5-year break, and then in 2012, we get the album Wreck. This cover, again, very bloody. We have a bloody hand hanging down, like, fully covered in blood. Like, my hand about looked like that after I cut my head at work that time. But here we get Rat, DK, No Chance, Pigeon, Metropolis, Ghost, Don't, Stuck, and we end it with Ha Ha Ha, which, that song actually was very catchy. Like, that's the one song that sort of sticks out of the whole discography so far. It goes, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Like, very, very insane song, I must say. So then, another 5 years goes by, and we get the album Sterilize. And here we get Factory, The Grind, Aberration, No Reprieve, Lung, Inclusion, Distance, A Slow Reaction, We're Fucked, and Avail. And then, talking about sort of like the comp albums. So, I'm going to talk about the singles 89 to 82, or 89 to 92 album, which a lot of these tracks did not appear on any of the original studio albums, so that's why we're going to talk about it. So, here we have the song Burn, we have This Town, Urge to Kill, Vandal X, which I believe was on one of the albums, Street Sweeper, Concrete Bed, My Right, Jungle Music, Blood Boy, Four Sticks, which is a Zeppelin cover, Boost, El Mundo, and Blood Boy. And, yeah, so this actually highlights, like, their earliest stuff, like, before their first studio album. Like, much of it was before their first album, so I guess it kind of, like, predates it, in a way. And then the other one I want to talk about, it's called Improvise, Montinians, and Demo, which, what you get here is basically sort of like, you know, like re-recordings and demos of, like, older tracks that they hadn't released until now. So, for instance, here you get Cracked Up, Cut, Bath, Slag, Jungle Music, which we've gotten that one before, My Right, and then when you get to the last four, you get the demos from 88. You get Bring It, What's This, Wasted Time, and Trial. And here again, it's hit or miss on whether or not some of these tracks made the albums or not, so that's why I thought I'd talk about it. But as far as Unsane goes as a band, you know, very sludgy, very, very hardcore. You know, you can't really group them with, like, hair bands or grunge or any of that. Like, they're just so different, I guess. But I guess the mainstream wouldn't have really cared for them. That's why you never heard of them or heard them on the radio. And me being a big rock fan, I never even heard of them until, like, recently. But if you like the Melvins, definitely check these guys out for sure. So, rating the albums, let's rate them. And this is going to be sort of difficult for me because I don't really have a particular favorite album, but I feel like, I don't know, Viz Queen and Wreck almost tie for the top in my opinion. Sterilize was good too. So I feel like the last three were the top three. And as far as, like, my least favorite albums, I don't know, I would say probably the self-titled was my least favorite. But I gotta let them slide on it because, you know, it was their first full album, you know, and they were sort of in their infancy. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this experimental view on a band I've never heard yet until I did the review, called Unsane. So, Next video, we definitely have a band that's way more popular. We're sort of getting back into bands that are, you know, if you're like a rock and hard rock metal fan, you'll know who they are. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, we'll see you next time.